Hi guys, my name is Sedona Martrana, and for my Unit 1 project, I did motion analysis in dancers. What is motion analysis? Motion analysis is a performance tool we can use to analyze and correct an athlete's movement. At higher levels, professional companies will use a full commercial filming team to create 3D images and videos, as well as use sensors for more accurate results. Why use dancers? I chose dance as my sport because every movement matters. Just by dropping your left pinky toe, you will be able to balance longer, or by lifting your elbows, you can make 3 more turns. Another reason I chose dancers is because they are trained with the ability to apply corrections immediately. I also chose dance because the progress is easily measurable by time or number of movements. My objective was to take 2 dancers to perform 2 steps each, creating a total of 4 steps, and to analyze and improve those moves. I also wanted to inform athletes on the effect of motion analysis and educate trainers on how to perform motion analysis. For our first move, Hannah performed a pencil pull balance. On the before side, we can see her bottom knee is bent, her hip is lifted so her leg is going diagonal to her torso rather than parallel with. Her top foot is what we call sickled, which means it's turned in rather than turned out. Her shoulders are shrugged upwards, which is making it harder for her to pull in her leg. And we can see on the bottom foot here that her weight placement is rolled in rather than being straight across the ball of her foot. In the clip, we can see that she held this balance for 1.6 seconds. On the after side, we can see that Hannah has pulled her hip into line so that her leg is parallel with her torso. We can also see that her shoulders are dropped, which is making it easier for her to pull that leg up into position. Her foot is now winged rather than being sickled, so it's turned out. Her weight placement is still a little bit leaning towards that inside, but it is a lot more flatter than the first take. And we can also see that she has mostly straightened that bottom leg. So in the clip, we see that she held this balance for 4.2 seconds. For our second move, Hannah performed a Calypso Jump, where her front leg should be straight and her back leg should be bent with matching arms and an arched back. On the before side, we can see that Hannah's front leg is bent and her front arm is shot behind her body where we cannot see it. Her back arm is rotated so that her hand is facing the back wall rather than the side wall, and her back leg is in a good bent position, but her knee and her foot should be in line with each other rather than a higher foot and a lower knee. We can also see that she has a rather short neck where it should be lengthened up to help her arch her back. In the video, we can see that she has a rather small prep to get her body up in the air, which got her 1.7 seconds of airtime. For our third move, Lily performed handstand walks. On the before side, we can see that her fingers are not spread apart, providing less surface area for her to balance on. We can see she has what we call dead feet, which means they're not pointed or flexed, which don't help her balance. She has no stack, meaning that her shoulders are over here, but her hips are over here when her hips should be over her shoulders to create one unit to balance. Her legs are not helping her balance because they're helping her hips balance and not her shoulders. And in the clip, we can see that she starts walking before she is fully established. Lily took 3 steps in this clip. On the after side, we can see that Lily has spread her fingers apart as much as she possibly can to create that surface area for her to balance on. We can see she has now gotten her hips straight over her shoulders to create that single unit balance that she needs to take her steps. Her legs are also helping her balance with pointed feet. One thing we can see in this video is that her elbows are actually locking out when she takes steps, which could cause injury. In the video, we can see her legs moving up and down with every step to help her balance. In this video, Lily took 12 steps. For our last move, Lily performed pirouettes, which is a single-legged turn on the ball of your foot. On the before side, we can see that Lily's hands are turned in towards her body when they should be in line with her wrists in a perfect arc formation. She also has a low passe, which is the angle of her up leg, where it should be a 45-degree angle, her foot above her knee. We see here that she has about a 90-degree angle with her foot below her knee, where it is also not flexed or pointed in that dead position. We can also see that her bottom leg is bent, making it harder for her to balance. Her releve angle, which is the angle of her foot with the ground, is very low, and the problem with this is that her turning point is now at the ball of her foot, but her balance point is over her heel. So her body is having to overcompensate for that to get over the turning point so she can balance. We can also see that her shoulders are a little bit lifted up towards her head, making her arms harder to hold solid during her turns. In the clip, we can see that she has hopped her turns, which is incorrect. And here's that double hop. Lily only made 2 rotations on the first take. On the after side, we can see Lily has gotten her bottom leg a lot straighter than the first take. Her passe is now at that nice 45-degree angle with her pointed foot. Her hands are in line with her wrists and her arms, making that perfect arc formation. And her body is in line with her leg. We can also see that her head is catching the front with that nice spot, making sure that she doesn't get dizzy during her turns. Her releve is now a little bit higher than the first take, but still fairly low, and we'll see in the video that her body will have to overcompensate to get on top of that turning point. Here we can see her with that slight tilt forward to get over that turning point. Lily made 6 rotations during this take. This concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. Thank you.